back to a map, you've got to start thinking, well, what can you start to bring that they won't be expecting? Because VODs, reviews, all of that stuff is so prevalent and such a big part of the team. So you've got to start being able to take places by surprise. And in a map like Oregon that's A, been around forever, B, it's so ingrained, C, we've seen it just in this tournament almost every single matchup. I don't know, I kind of want to see some creativity here, but...
I'm expecting a line ban here from Team 1, just because, yeah, you can't give Liquid the line, especially Zig. He's a monster online. Team Liquid are very, very coordinated when they do have that line in the lineup, so you commonly see line ban going. Team Liquid, I'm not sure what they're banned here, actually. Could it be the book again? They're quite fond of the book ban here.
Yeah, they've generally done the book ban a fair few times now. Obviously, it hasn't been a massive part of their play, but at the same time, and there's the smoke ban as well. So again, that's a big one to take out of Team 1. So Team 1 could roll with a mirror if they want in their first 5 defenses.
I think they will roll with a mirror here because I mean, you're thinking about plant denial at this point, and maybe they're not going to ban a pretty high impact operator here on the defense. Maybe they'll look to win these defenses, or maybe they'll go the opposite direction, but they will ban out the clash, which is interesting because, yes, I would normally agree with that, but Sexy Cake isn't playing today.
Yeah, and they've also, I mean, Liquid actually, they banned a clash in the previous one. They have so far in this tournament banned clash. Clash is one of the 4 operators that they've actually taken a ban to. So they also, they've been making some curious bans this time. They even banned out Monty, we've seen as well. So, you know, it's always...
I think for Liquid, it's always very map-dependent bans rather than just bans that they just do for the sake of banning operators. But we're going to see round number 1 getting underway. This could be the first time I think we've seen Silence play as well.
Yeah, it's the first time this tournament we've seen Silence. So far, Liquid have kept the same 5. Most teams have, to be fair, but they've generally kept it. So it'll be interesting, as we said, to see how Silence fits into this setup. Obviously, Sexy Cake is an incredible fragger and has generally been, I believe, top of all of Liquid's scoreboards throughout all of their previous games as well, with the highest KD. And when you have players like Nesk on your team, or Zig, that is a very, very big accomplishment, I would say. But
so maybe to give you guys a bit of background to who Silence is, he was previously the coach for FaZe Clan, and he took them to great heights during the last Invitational. There's a little bit of drama there, I believe, and then he moved over to Liquid. But before that, I do believe he was one of the Brazilian national cup winners. So he's a pretty prevalent and pretty experienced player across the pro scene in Latin America. So I'm still expecting him to do pretty good things here. But again, it always sucks being a sub. You're not... If you're getting benched in esports, you're definitely not within those regular practices. I'm not sure how tightly Silence is within those practices with Liquid, but you know, I also know he serves as a coaching role. So maybe this is going to affect it too much, but not having Sexy Cake, I think, is going to affect the playstyle.
Yeah, just the way, as we said, Sexy Cake has kind of lit up this tournament so far in a team that is a very solid team. You know, it's one of those things. You can obviously see they're instantly getting the opening pick. Their Panico taking care of Bullet with that Doc ACOG at the top of Big Tower. We have seen a few times, but what a way to start this match off, because these are teams that, when it gets aggressive, they double down, they push harder. Nesk instantly trying to unseat anyone holding in dorms and kids' dorms. They want to start breaking in. Zig is obviously watching any potential rotation as well, trying to force them, trying to pincer them out just a little bit. You've got the Lesion, you've got GDN on the Maestro up there as well. So if they can drop the Maestro and Lesion, that's 2 very big operators to take off the table.
And Liquid typically do have a pretty good roam clear here on Oregon. You see lots of drones are going to be coming out from them, but already losing your Zofia this early on, especially on how destructive Oregon is, not having the option of Book, it's definitely going to hurt them quite a lot. You see Ion still holding it down. Panico's actually going to go for a run out here outside of the big tower, but can't find anyone just yet. Flashbangs are going to go out, and we'll see Rotate slowly start to come out. Yeah, as Liquid do start to push in. PSK makes his way through onto the attic as the drones do come out ahead of him. But Team 1 are really doing very, very well to keep control of the roam game here.
Yeah, you saw both of them pulled back as soon as they felt a little bit of pressure and they knew the execute was coming. They just dropped back. But GDN finds PSK. That is 2 of Liquid off the board. Now they are struggling to lock it down. And Capitao as well. And we've seen them use Capitao's bolts and bows very effectively in their pushes. They're going to hold. Silence is just going to try and hold the meeting rotation, make sure no one pushes through as they drone it out. Nesk as well. But they've realized they've got to start pushing towards the point. Dropping the Maestro. Silence again, just trying to keep an eye on, trying to keep a cover, hoping they don't get a little bit overzealous with that push. But iONE finds Nesk, and the double drops down Zig as well. And the triple to find Silence. What a way to start this off, Team One.
Flawless defense round for Team One right now. And so aggressive, but still very controlled aggression. We saw the peek coming up from Panico. Very nice peek from him indeed. Takes Bullet off the board pretty much straight away. And after that, Liquid just did not manage to keep up with the momentum at all. Team One did excellently just to pull back on that roam. And really, I can't think of how they could have played that better. But some poor performance coming up from Liquid to start with. They're going to have to start to pick up the pace going into round number 2. And these Silence is actually going to be picking the Thinker here. Kind of expecting him to 6-pick this, but Thinker can be pretty good on Oregon. So we're actually going to see 6-pick going up from Nesk, from the Ashe onto the Ying. And iBlack's going to 6-pick from the Legion onto something.
Curious where they're going to send that Legion. Obviously, Legion, you know, is such a powerful operator, especially in the way LATAM like to use him and utilize him. He's fairly common picked. Was a little bait of the Capcan, but no, going to 6th and 6th to Legion again. Weirdly, that's probably the smart thing to do at that point. Legion is just so good at the minute in the meta and the way it's played. But we'll see if they can find themselves a little bit better off attacking this Dorms. Obviously, they have Echo, they have a Maestro, they have a Mirror, they have a lot of possibility for information gathering and a lot of possibility to just keep control. And that's seemingly a big part of how Team One played that, is the rotations and the pulling back when they felt that pressure and not giving away their lives, but picking up those trades. It was picture perfect.
It was picture perfect indeed. Let's see how it does go through as we move into round number 2. We'll see a Kids Dom's main hold defense coming out. But the smoke ban really has not affected too much from Team One here, except maybe in how aggressively they play us. And of course, they're going to be playing the Echo Shotgun because of the smoke ban.
Yeah, you kind of, whenever smoke is taken off the table, especially on a map like this, where there are just places, smoke is forever useful, but there are places where he can just lock off pushes and lock off quite a lot. Obviously, it's now freeing up Silence to bring Thinker with a lot less fear, because we've seen a good smoke play get 3 players before, just from the combination of baiting the Thinker and then getting the timings right, which is always an absolute monster kill to pull off. But at the same time, it means that you kind of have less to rely on just to stop a push. And we know LATAM like to fast push. We know these guys like to aggressively get to the point and just keep on getting aggressive.
Yes, they definitely like to go to the place and shoot the lads. And we'll see how that happens as we move into round number 2. We haven't seen too many rounds across LATAM ending in time. We saw quite a lot of it yesterday, though.
Yeah, it was peculiar. I think yesterday, throughout the entire tournament, we saw of a 5 defense, 4 of them ended by timeouts. 4 of them ended by time. And that was about 70%, 80% of what the total tournament has been. So it's just a rare thing to see their rounds end that way. They like to find confrontations, they love to find fights, and normally in that final 15-20, if they're not in a position to execute, they just execute anyway. They go, well, screw it, let's go for frags, let's go for picks. And to be fair, a lot of the time it plays off. They're just so talented at getting those quick movements and those frags and those picks that anything's to play for in those final 15 seconds. But Bullet finds iONE. Panico gets the refrag as they start to stack up on those Dorms windows.
Yeah, again, the very similar strategy coming out from Liquid yet again. Flashman's going to go out to confirm the no ADS. As Candels go out, but GDN just jumps out. PSK shuts him right on down. Hugs over the Nitro. It's Nesk, though. PSK does get another one. iBlast goes down. He's just going to try and repel in, but Hugzor's still holding below. Does take down PSK. And that's going to be a 2v2 situation now. But it's going to be Panico left alone on site and just a sliver of HP to try and hold it all down. But the diffuser is actually managed to go down. Beautiful bit of plays coming out here as nades do go out. Zig picks up Panico and now all into the hands of Hugzor to try and bring it in. He's going to rotate through onto Armory Corridors. Kind of locked out the objective here a little bit. But if he can pick one, he can probably clutch this. He sees one. Silas is going to be paying attention. He goes down. Zig going to be left alone in this fight. Silence does get executed and Hugzor does try and push around. He's got to try and fight Zig in a 1v1. Doesn't see him, but what a shot from Hugzor! Just flicks straight onto Zig, takes him down, and Hugzor will clutch the round in a 1v2. Team 1 take round number 2.
Now, you do question what Silence was looking at there. He was very much... He was covering the other stairs, sure, but at the same time, you got to be a bit more aware of stuff like that. You got to be a bit more aware of just the possibility of rotation and what is covered and what isn't. Obviously, credit to Hugzor there in that round. Obviously, we saw get the 2K from underneath, and then come up to clutch it with a 4K. Hey, that was some hell of a mirror play there, Hugzord.
He probably figured that Hugzord would rotate up white because, you know, you're a 1 speed, you just come from kitchen, because he knows he's in kitchen getting the picks from below. So, I mean, I don't think Silence was wrong there to be looking at where he was looking, but obviously just not on the ball with where those rotates could have come from.
No.
He will go down, Zig unable to get the refrag, and yeah, very well played from Hugzord to clutch the round, and yeah, I believe that was a 3K from him, or a 4.
It was a 4K.
Yeah,
4K, two nitro kill, one through the window, and then the final 2. But we go to rear stage Watchtower. As we said, this is a more popular third point in LATAM. Valk, Echo, Maestro. And they say it's more popular. That doesn't make it any easier. It's definitely been one of the most hotly contested points between attackers and defenders. We've seen it go either way, from a mix of aggression to holding to movements to whatever. A lot of jumping out of windows, so I'm always expecting that. But again, we'll see if Team 1 can pull this one off, make it 3 perfect defenses in a row and give themselves the perfect rotation to make it set themselves up.
It's always been very interesting to me, though, because, I mean, I've commonly mentioned how critical a mirror is to this site, and when you have a mirror, it becomes very defensible. The mirror is available to them, but Team 1 are not taking it.
Yeah, you've got to think, obviously, how much they scrim this with and without a mirror, how much they kind of strategize this with and without a mirror, and maybe. Obviously, they've got old strats with the mirror from the other places, or how confident and comfortable they are bringing a mirror. Hey, they just want to try and bring this to a little bit. It's always hard to guess. It's always hard to judge how much a team puts behind a mirror.
Regardless of that, I still think that the operator mix here is kind of confusing from Team 1. I mean, there's not a castle on the board here if you're going to play this very safe and passively. There's no dock on the board here from how typically Nesk does chance of players, and as I mention it, Nesk does just rotate up exactly where I thought he was going to. He picks up the first kill of the round. Iblat's going down immediately. That's already the Echo off the table before he can even complete his setup.
Yeah, that is pretty bad timing for the Echo as well. Was putting down the second reinforcement. The Lesion is up there suffering as well. Obviously doesn't have an ACOG to really bring these fights back to Nesk down there, because we've seen a lot of people dropped trying to peek that window just because the ACOG at the top got the drop on them, but obviously Echo nowhere near ready. But PSK is starting to stack up on the windows. They want to start breaking in. Nesk is still holding the rotation, so theoretically they're going to very quickly close down on this Lesion, force them either into Nesk's gun or try and take the fight themselves. The drone runs in. We can hear a fair bit of destruction going down. The drone does not last very long. Again, Nesk still just holding and waiting and baiting Silence on another window as well. They're really pincering this tower now.
Yeah, they are starting to pincer it. I mean, they do have their entry pick, and they could start to make a little bit of movement here. GDN still holding it down amazingly, but oh, he doesn't get picked. Oh, wow. Great rotation coming up from GDN there. Flashbangs are going to go down, but GDN still not getting picked despite how aggressive he's being right now. PSK cannot find this kill, and because he can't find this kill, he can't push just yet.
And you can also see Panico in the distance. Zig finds Hugzord, but Panico in the meantime has rotated around to small tower offices, trying to look for a counter pick here as Ion as well as holding down Meeting. It looked like Zig was creeping through originally through Meeting as well, so whether that's going to close down or is pulled out after getting the frag on Hugzord, but PSK finds GDN. So it is now the 2 players that were off point before. Panico doing a hard rotate background. Ion is playing in the just off rear stage, just in the back, trying to hold time for the Jaeger to get back, but they are quickly closing in from all angles. They have control of the top of tower. Panico finds Bullet, but Zig gets the return frag as he went on the run out, and it's now just Valkyrie who's doing the same thing. Gets one of the diffuser, goes down outside as well. They would have seen that. That gives them a little bit of a fighting chance. Now 40 seconds on the clock. You can see the urgency as Liquid go out to rotate, go out to get the diffuser. They've got it, and they're going to go for another run out, but PSK is there to stop that.
Much better performance coming out from Liquid, and I feel like as soon as the Echo got shut down, that was it. But they should have known that, because every single time that Liquid have attacked Big Tower, Nesk plays Ash, he rotates that exact same window and he purifies that exact same spot, knowing that someone is going to be holding there, and yes, he will manage to do it successfully this time. So I was kind of confused. I mean, yes, play an ACOG up there, but potentially don't play your Echo up there. I mean, play a Doc or someone who can take those fights. Yeah,
you want your Doc, you want your Rook, because we've already seen, and you've just seen Panico switch to Doc. Panico Doc got a frag up there from round 1. He knows how to play that. So why didn't you throw him up there? Why put him on the Jaeger on the other side of the map? Hey-ho, that's all down to them. But we go back down to Laundry and Supply at a 2-1 split.
It'll be interesting, though. I mean, if you're going to see that any of these defenses are going to be lost, it is most likely going to be that big tower offsite. So going back to this Laundry room, I'm expecting Team 1 to do a little bit better. Of course, this was actually a flawless round for them. Liquid were just not quick enough on that roam clear.
No hard destruction from Liquid. So
suggests a blue rush?
Yeah, it definitely suggests that. I mean, you can generally tell if a team does not pick hard destruction on this point, and they've not got any Maverick as well or anything like that, they're gonna rush. They're going to try to move quickly, especially if you look at just the lineup, the Sledge, the Zafir, the Ashe, Thatcher, and a Twitch. They're going to try and push hard and fast, and that's all that can be expected. And to be fair, that might catch Team 1 off guard, because if we remember the first round, which they did so well, they had 3 people roaming offsite and only 2 actually on-site.
I mean, yeah, I agree that maybe Team 1 aren't expecting this, but typically they have played someone in Meeting Hall, and that electric catch is just so easy to shut down that blue rush completely. But yeah, you are right, there is quite a lot of roam game coming out from Team 1, but there's actually not going to be a blue rush coming out from Liquid, surprisingly. They're going to move through for a west main clear instead, and see what they can do from that angle. But no hard breacher and no smokes. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those plays where you're kind of thinking, okay, how is this going to evolve? Because obviously we've seen the lineups, we've seen where they're pushing from now, and they're not pushing with the speed. If they were going for that kind of speedy push, they would already be knocking on the point doors. So no, they're going a little bit slower than you would expect on a fast push, but they are all stacking up on the first floor west main. So maybe they're going to push meeting, and they might be pushing straight across. No, here it comes. They're going straight down Laundry Stairs. They are not wasting any time. Nesk accidentally getting the team kill against Zig, but does pick up the 3K technically, but gets dropped by iBlacks.
Great refresh coming out here. iBlacks with another one takes down Bullets, a 2v3. Now 2v2 as PSK takes down Ion, but Panaco quickly trades it right on back. All now into the hands of PSK as he rotates through into Meeting Hall. It's all alone to the Thatcher. You could rotate down this hatch, and you will do so. Goes for the silo drop. Oh, he drops Panico as well. He's in a 1v1 now, all between him and iBlacks. iBlacks doing pretty well so far to try and get these kills. As you can secure the last one out. He does have control of the diffuser, and he knows it. He sees the head, but he misses. Oh no, PSK can't hit the shots. And we've still got 1 minute 30 left to go. Does have a Claymore in his back. Could use this a little bit, but iBlacks will not let him. Goes for the crouch beat, takes him down, and Team 1 takes yet another successful round, but actually a much better attempt from Liquid.
You wonder how it went if it wouldn't have been for the accidental team kill. Yeah, obviously, when you're in that kind of chaotic situation and you're all aiming at that mirror window, that might have just been unfortunate positioning from Zig trying to take the lead, and Nisk had the shot, but it's one of those, it's a what if.
I'm still kind of really surprised the way in which Hugzord peaked that, because he peaked it with a Nitro standing up, knowing that people were going to shoot him as soon as he tried to do that. So I would have expected him to crouch peek it at least, but
it was a Hail Mary. I think it was one of those where if that C4 had gone off by some miracle of whatever, then it would have been beautiful. But unfortunately, when you're playing against Nesk, he's so accurate, he could get the headshot through his IGL's head as well. The double headshot.
The collab.
The old-fashioned collab. Storm's main hall, we go to Ying. 6th pick from Ashe. They generally went for, they've got a hard destructor this time, Sledge, Zafir, and Capitao. So they're probably not going to go.
We've seen this strategy quite a lot from Liquid, and I expect they're going to do the same thing again, where they just push onto those kids on windows. So for Team 1, I think it's going to be mostly about run-out potential, but on top of that, it's going to be about holding downstairs, which they did so successfully quite well last time, and also potentially trying to hold on to Attic for as long as you can, but Liquid have done pretty well with taking control of Attic pretty much as quickly as possible, and often dedicating the hard breach too.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, obviously, if they try to do anything to try to shut down Hugzord this time. Obviously, Hugzord getting the 4K last time they're at this point, because the 2 kills Hugzord got from underneath, they were completely free of pressure. They were very easy kills. Got Capitao on the swing in as well, with had plenty of time to line up that headshot. There was nothing trying to dissuade them. Obviously, they did get the diffuser down, and they were 2-1 up at the end, so, it could have pulled off, but Be interesting to see if Liquid adapt the strategy. Obviously, they are now clearing out Big Tower first. oNe is using that Valk to try to counter the push against Kids, Dorms, Windows. Hugsword's still upstairs, drilling holes. oNe knows they're being droned out. That's almost 2 drones dropped. They're starting to break windows. Has a couple of ADSs upstairs just to buy themselves a little bit more time. But that is now 3 of Liquid stacked up trying to clear this Big Tower.
oNe still being able to hold it down, however, could waste quite a lot of time here, though. He will be peeking around quite aggressively, maybe throwing a Nitro out, but no, the ADS is going to catch that Flashbang. And I'm going to be seeing what he can do. ADS finally going to get burned. Flashbang is going to confirm that there is no more ADS here in Big Tower. And hopefully Nest should be able to peek out of here quite quickly. oNe's in a really bad position here. The Candelas are going to go out. The Nitro goes out here. Does not find his mark because Nest will just shoot it. He just repels all the way in and successfully downs and takes him out. oNe goes down, GDN goes down to PSK, and looking pretty good for Liquid now. Much better roam clear coming up from them, and Avax is just going to have absolutely none of that.
Yeah, that's a nope. If I've ever seen one, he is not taking that fight and he's not letting them take that push. Well, Hugsword, you beautiful peeker there. That was a very clean shot against Nesk from the far side.
Panico going to be on the roam, is slowly going to start to continue back to the site through the basement area, but things are starting to slow down quite a little bit for Liquid here. Of course, they've lost Nesk now, which is a huge pick there from Hugsword and a really good pick from him, but that's going to mean it's going to be very, very hard for Liquid to actually repel in through these windows and do something there. Another great shot from Hugsword is going to take down the drone. See what he can do here to try and finish things off, but not looking too good for Liquid now. But they have still got the man advantage. Flashbang's going to go out to make sure there's no ADS here. And they can be successful in that. But again, still, just without Nesk here, it's going to be pretty hard for them to make something work here.
Yeah, you can see they're already stacking up on the big double window. They're trying to get some range. iBlax is going for the counter peek, just trying to find some bullets into the shoulder, but Panico takes down PSK with the run out from Big Tower and the double on Silence as well. Zig finds iBlax in the trade. Bullet starts pushing in. Would have been seen by the mirror. The C4 is misthrown. Great push from Bullet there to drop Hugsword.
But no Nitro from Panico. He cannot deny this plant from below. He's just looking to see if he can see anyone and just go for those pre-fire spots where he knows the fuse is most likely to go down, but it will go down. They do, of course, also have the mirror here. He sees the Claymore. Can he get it? There we go. He will get it. He moves into small towers. See what he can do here to recover the situation a little bit. Window's going to be closed, and this is just disaster here for Panico. He's going to have to move very, very quick. Should have maybe got his pistol after this, but don't think it's going to really affect things here. Pre-fires come out from Bullet, and he does successfully take down Panico. Team Liquid take round number 5.
Yeah, that was, again, some very good movements, some very good ideas. Unfortunately, when you're trying that retake and your position's been given away before you even do the run out with the shooting down on the barricade, it's a hard one to take back, but hey, they made it over, and it is 3-2 as we go to the swap over. Now, Laundry and Supply, and something that has been kind of continually said about a team like Liquid is they're stronger on the attack.
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
I'd say that they do well on the attack, but again, this is a little bit of a different Liquid than we've seen before. Of course, Sexy Cake isn't in this lineup, and I think this is definitely affecting the team coordination here just a little bit. I mean, you saw initially how slow Liquid's roam clear was, where on Oregon, traditionally, they've had a very, very good roam clear, and don't forget, this was Liquid's map pick.
This was Liquid's map pick. You can't throw that away, but 3-2. To be fair, I think this might even be, maybe, from the first maps of first games, the best split that they've actually had going into the halftime. I think. I might not be quotable on that stat, but generally they've been 4-1 down or at this point. But hey, they pulled it back for before. You can see they're setting up, obviously. They've got a lot down in, or in meeting, just holding above. Up against iBlax of Finker. Now, again, Finker, you're much more free to play, especially when smoke's off the board. You've got a bit more breathing room and a bit more kind of confidence in that using your ability is only ever really going to be a boon.
Yeah, no, that is definitely very true. Not having the smoke on the board is definitely going to help things out from Finker's perspective here, but again, it's still one of those operators that is a very niche pick.
Yeah, it's got definite ticks, it's got definite bonuses, but the trade of operators that everyone's always got to remember is, well, what are you taking out in exchanges? It's the balance of the balance of your siege lineup. What are you bringing, and what does Finker do that arguably someone else in that lineup could do. Obviously, they're using Thermite instead of Hibana. They're rare to use IQ. They've got Hugsword on the Jackal hunting down any potential roamers. The Ashe is backing that up with Ion, who we know is a fantastic Ashe player as well. That's the balance, and it'll be interesting to see how they utilize those Finker buffs.
Great, very, very quick roam clear coming out here from Team 1. Already taking complete control of this west main area. And honestly, this is looking a little bit quicker than how Liquid's was. But we'll see how they do it, because Liquid still have quite a decent amount of control here. Going for the pre-fire Hugsword. Almost takes Bullet off the board. I'm going to be moving through into the meeting hall here. Lots of drones going to be coming out. Panico trying to push him, but the flag hit is going to disable the Valkyrie camera. And the ADS is there at flag. Is not good at all. PSK going to go for the pre-fires. Ion makes his way through into Attic. Still, Ness can be holding down onto Big Tower. Still, static hold coming out from Liquid.
Yeah, you can see they're worried, obviously, about people pushing from Attic and covering the top. They haven't really reinforced those meeting main walls. They're struggling a little bit. Well, they've reinforced one of them, but one of them is unreinforced. Nesk looks like PSK has rotated down as well. They're starting to pull back a little bit to point. There's Nesk's rotation as well. They're just going to buy time. They're not going to throw away their lives. They're going to say, right. But Zig finds Hugsword, and that is the Jackal off the board with a beautiful C4. And it looks like the drop down is open as well.
Yeah, that's smokes down as well. Don't forget, that's definitely going to affect the plant situation here for Team 1. Not looking too good for them, because that was a very, very big pick from Zig there. And there's still all 5 operators on the board here from Liquid. They still have roam presence as well. PSK and Bullet will return to it. Push up onto Big Tower, trying to get to the meeting hall potentially here. Team 1 struggling to keep control and struggling to really go for a push, because they don't have smokes, they don't have Capitao, they don't really have any utility to go for an execute here.
Now, you did see Bullet and PSK are getting a little bit... They're testing the waters, are pushing up. Ion has just rotated out as well, but Iblax with a grenade finds silence, and there is Panico saving the life of the Ashe there, dropping Bullet. PSK finds Panico, gets a little bit of revenge on Nesk even, and then Iblax gets Zig in the trade on the point itself, with Ion finding Nesk and Iblax locking it off against PSK.
You know what that strategy was from Team 1? It was Finker buff, drop all the hatches, and shoot the lads.
It was a shoot the lads. An old-fashioned shoot the lads.
It was a good strategy from them, though, considering that you go to 45 seconds left to go, your Jackal gets nitroed, so you now don't have smokes. You've accepted that you cannot plant now, because there's no way you're planting that, and you're risking getting nitroed, and you're risking getting pushed by the remaining roamers. It is much better just to push down and, yeah, just go for the kills. I mean, you have Finker buff on the board. That is definitely going to secure you a little bit of the early gunfighting coming out. So really well played from Team 1 to recognize that. And you often don't see teams being able to do that mid-round, especially in that very last-minute situation where, you know, the panic is starting to get to you. So really well played there from Team 1 to adjust to the situation accordingly and pulling a win. Liquid, however, really not doing too well here. They are 4-2 down at the moment. Team 1 looking to secure Liquid's map.
Yeah, and that could be quite a big take. We've said about Liquid before, they're a team that starts a little bit shaky and then warms up as the game goes on. Some teams the opposite, some teams start very hot and then start to falter. But obviously having the swap in and out on Liquid so far isn't really doing them a huge amount of favors, as Stanab has said. It's a little bit of waking up, regardless of whether you're swapping in on a coach or a player, especially when you've been doing a tournament and this many games this kind of close together. And when the player is someone who is 60k or in that kind of caliber, who has really been a shining light for your team, it's always hard to shake that rust. But it is a best of 3, so there's still a lot of siege ahead of us and a lot of potential ahead of us as well. But it'll be interesting to see whether they translate anything different for this hold on this point here. Nesk, however, shutting down Ion in the opening 5 seconds.
Great spawn kill from Nesk, but Ion really should expect things like that coming out that early, especially in the style of play that's come out from Liquid so far on Oregon. So not looking too good for them, and again already losing the smokes.
Not great. It's not great. It's obviously this Jackal off the board twice. It was a different Jackal player this time, but this Jackal off the board twice is the first pick. You can see they're starting to drone out Armory as well. They probably want to clear that window. Panico was a bit concerned closing down where Nisk spawn peaked, but Nisk was straight out of there. Looks like they're still playing a little bit in big tower. It's Bullet who's just feeding information and intel right now. The MPX is a very hard gun to get to land. Well, it's not a powerful gun, I'll give it that much. But Thermite waited and knew and somehow almost didn't get that kill. Did pick up Bullet in the end, but that was a close one to Bullet somehow escaping the complete wait and bait there.
Yeah, great pick though coming out. Great patience coming up. It's going to be Nesk with his second as Silence does manage to pick up Pugzord. Beautiful pick there from Silence. Turns it into a 4v2, especially managed to pick the Ying like that. To be all down to Panico and GDN to recover the round, but no, GDN going to go down to the roaming PSK. And now all down to Panico in a 1v4. He's definitely going to be Panico right now. Let's see how he does deal with this. Be coming around to Attic. He sees the leg but can't connect the shot. Nesk takes him down. Beautiful round from Nesk on the Jaeger.
Yeah, that was Nesk really starting to, as we said, warm up, get into the game, get into the play, and start picking up those frags. And the confidence in the movement there of Nesk, just getting around that map and kind of saying, this is our map. This is where I'm going to take you, and this is where we're going to have firefights, and this is where I'm going to kill you. But Laundry and Supply, we drop back down to the basement. It'll be interesting to see if Liquid make any changes to how they held this.
We'll see how it goes down. But I don't think there was really anything wrong with Liquid's hold here. I think they just got bullied by the fact there's no smoke, that they didn't really have any options for plant denial. Although they didn't have an echo either, which I think they could have benefited from having an echo. But they will bring a castle this time, interestingly. Okay,
yeah, it would be nice to see where PSK sets up those castles, because there are some places where you deem them obvious. Obviously, you could hold meeting, you could get a bit more control there. They got closed down on dorms, as Stanham said, with a very nice roam clear very quickly. Just potentially trying to buy themselves a little bit more time upstairs in dorms or in meeting, because it allowed Team 1 to set up for their plan B, to get those drop downs, Finker buff, and to go. And if you could just try and put a little bit more of a thorn in the side. And to be fair, they almost did, actually. Saying that, it was so close to getting the drop on Ion.
Very, very close indeed. Not quite going there. Will be going quite well. See exactly how it's going to go through for Liquid. We've often said that Latin America is a very momentum-based region, but this has been surprisingly back and forth.
Yeah, it's the thing about these guys, as you said, is they very much, when we kind of get closer and closer to the end of the tournament and everything's a bit more tight to play for, it's interesting to see how they kind of bounce off each other and how they balance off each other. But as I said, that is what they're doing with the castle. So they're going to try and hold dorms and upstairs for a bit longer, try to just buy themselves more time with that castle and with the Jaeger. And the roam clear of Team 1, as Stanham said, was very quick and very efficient. And the longer you can prolong that, buys yourself more time.
We've seen this strategy before from Liquid though, but at the same time, I really don't think Team 1 have gone in here too prepared, because they don't seem to be expecting many of the classic Liquid strategies here. So hopefully, as we move further in, they start to recognize what Liquid are doing, because of course with Nesk's pre-fire into Big Tower, I don't know if it was unlucky timing or just complete unawareness, but that is something he's done every single time that Liquid have attacked Big Tower, and Team 1 would just seem to be completely unaware. But looks like they are going to be aware of this upstairs hold. Looks like Big Tower is going to get quickly opened up here by GDN. They're going to be pushing all the way through onto Attic. Think he's going to rotate downstairs. You can see what he can do from the meeting hole. Potentially go for a Nitro from below here.
Yeah, you can see Panico as well is going to start pushing through bunker. PSK is still a bit concerned about the above main, but again, the Thatchers are starting to rain down. They're obviously setting up around Big Tower. They're not wasting too much time. iBlack's feeding a little bit of information about where the movements inside the actual point in the laundry room are, but you can see Jackal of Ion is just trying to get a feed, trying to get a beat on at least one person. They really want to get that initial frag before they start setting up for whatever they want to do. There's 1 minute and 30 left, so there is plenty of time as they keep, again, great drone economy, great drone usage here.
Yeah, really good drone usage coming out from Team 1 so far, doing a great roam clear. But just taking control of the map generally has been going pretty successfully for them, but they haven't really done anything with it so far, and it's been fairly slow going for them, which is kind of surprising from Team 1, but there we go. We're also going to see soft destruction coming out from Ion here, as Ibla's going to rotate all the way around. Will not realize the Bullet's holding the angle from above him, but Ibla's just going to rotate down instead. What? How does he win the fight? Bullet goes down to Ibla's beautiful shot. But wow, that was a little bit of unawareness from iBlacks there.
Yeah, he really, really did deserve it. Well, it's not that he didn't deserve it. I think he definitely got a very lucky breath of wind there because he went in completely with his back to it. Here comes the Candelas. iBlacks finds Nesk as well on the other side as Ion just moves in and starts trying to put the diffuser down. They trade downs. PSK picks up Hogsword, iBlacks and Panico, and iBlacks again with that F2. Really doing work that round.
Great 4K from iBlacks though, it seems, as he was just running to the site and, as I said, shoot the lads.
Shoot the lads, yeah. It was... They stacked up on Big Tower, and you could see that they circumvented the external setup they had on dorms, and they kind of made Liquid believe everything is coming from here. And to be fair, the iBlacks frag against Bullet on the downward stairs, the laundry stairs, that was just like a backdoor. Like, here's our point. Come on in. And Nesk, obviously, we saw Nesk try to get the counter and try to get the counter pick on it. So they fed the information of, hey, Twitch is here. You know, it's hard. It's hard to pick up that fight.
It's a hard knock life, indeed. I still think there was a big misplay from Bullet there, who really should have been holding those laundry stairs for a little bit longer. I think he was still expecting the rotate to come from GDN and to go for the plant of Thermite onto the hatch, why he was still playing up there. And it was amazing that Team 1 either didn't drone him out up there or just didn't even bother to push him at all, despite the fact that they did take control of Big Tower.
Yeah, there's only so much you can really know. But we talk about the favorite third spot. It looks like Liquid are wanting to actually play the kitchen spot instead of Watchtower.
Which, you know, again, is interesting considering that they do have that mirror available to them. We do normally see that when there is a mirror, you tend to see that Big Tower take. But I've often said that Liquid is a Latin American team that don't really play like other Latin American teams. And, you know, that comes into it quite a lot. And I think that this is definitely one of those times where this is often a site that we only really see from North American teams.
Yeah, I think the good thing about Siege is every season, every LAN, every matchup between the different kind of regions, you start to see certain bits being translated between the guys and certain bits kind of being picked up like, oh, that's how they pick us. And then you start to see it develop and mutate in and amongst the region, and then they bring it all back to each other at these invitationals and at these LANs and stuff like that. And I definitely think that there's a sign that some of the arguments about what Liquid rely on and what they don't in terms of how the rest of LATAM has mutated this most recent season kind of says a lot more about their kind of scores than a lot of other things. Like, you see just how the drone work, I definitely think, has just come so far in these kind of regions and stuff. You don't see it with every team, don't get me wrong, but it's always interesting. However, enough about that. They are starting to close down on Shower. Silence is playing above with the dock as well. They really need to get control of that shower point before they can start making any real decent groundwork in towards this point. Hogsword is going to go straight in as the Ying, and last time we saw the Ying got picked off while doing the entry, so hopefully they actually managed to get off at Candela this time.
Yeah, there's going to be a frost map behind there as well as Legion Mines. This is a perfect opportunity for Zofia and Ash, but there is no such thing from Team 1 right now. That is a massive disaster for them, because if there were Zofia here, that would be that entire defense just crippled completely. Yeah,
that's very much, you've got to find a way to just break that down. Now, GDN going for the push through. PSK finds the opening frag against Hogsword. And now that is the Ying off the table, and Panico finds PSK1, but Panico and iBlacks both exceptionally low. Nesk finds the refrag, and it's still a minute 14 left, but the main wall is open. GDN finds Nesk, and that is a big hole to have in your defense here.
Yeah, Frost is going to return to the site. Zig going to try and get into the kitchen here. Silence is going to just boost himself and try and rotate down White Stairs. All down to Ion and GDN now, as iBlacks does get executed here from Bullet. Not looking too good, but they do have a lot of control here. So they could still go for a plant. Oh, the 80, yes, just being hidden there right next to the bomb. He's going to catch the last smoke grenade from Ion. The plant is going to attempt to go down from GDN. He's going to have to be very, very quick about this as the Jackals will start to come in. Zig takes down GDN, but Ion quickly trades it back on out. But no, he can't find the kill on Zig. Zig takes down Ion with a headshot. And very surprisingly, Liquid will actually take their defense round.
5-4, they are, as you said, back and forth, keeping themselves in it. Obviously, this is their map, and you kind of want to leave them on their map. And again, another fun Liquid fact is, I believe, every single first map they have taken to overtime. Every single time.
That is a very interesting fun fact.
It's a fun fact in my big old book of handwritten fun facts, but still on match point. 5-4, we're not there yet. They've got one more round to take, and we'll see how they manage to do it as they go to kids' dorms.
I think that Liquid had a good, interesting setup, especially using the Frost very creatively to stop any heavy pushes coming out, but it could have been all destroyed very easily from a Zofia or an Ashe coming out from Team 1, so I'm kind of disappointed to see that not coming through, although Team 1 maybe just trying to go for the same strategy that they were doing. I mean, they brought a fairly similar lineup for pretty much every single attack here on Oregon, and I'm pretty sure they were expecting that laundry defense.
Well, it seems like they've doubled down a little bit now. They've realized that we didn't have an Ashe or Zofia, so now we're going to bring both of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 heads are always better than 1, right?
Double down on your grenade launchers, kids. Right. 6 pick to Blitz for the first time. We're seeing a shield operator ball and an echo from Silence.
Something that's been constantly going wrong here for Team 1 is they've just had absolutely zero way to plant the diffuser, despite the fact there really hasn't been too much plant denial from Liquid.
Yeah, they seem to kind of... I mean, it's always the initial push. It's getting that first kind of movement in and then being able to be sure of yourself. And that's normally where it looks like they've kind of tapered. But at the same time, with, as you said, how Liquid are playing and the plant denial they've had, they haven't really been rolling with a huge amount. They've been going for those setups and those frags. And to be fair, the times that they've generally played the basement point as well, you've seen they've done 2 very different holds, and neither has really worked.
We also haven't seen any Maestro from Liquid, which is a big surprise, and I thought maybe Team 1 would read into that and try and, I don't know, like take more smokes in. Because they've only ever had 2 smokes. They've never brought a Capitao. They've only just started bringing the Blitz, who also has smokes. So, yeah, I mean, it's just being kind of confusing from Team 1's operator picks, but also from Liquid's operator picks, because not taking Maestro on an Oregon defense is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, the way they've kind of set up, and why put a camera there when we can just put Nesk, I think is what I've seen. It's how they've been playing. But you can see Nesk again covering those drones, covering the stand-up spot, looking over at the balcony there as Zig is just going to hold deep inside. Now, Zig is someone who we've seen do some pretty amazing clutches, but generally has been picking up the Echo, so they've handed off the Echo to Silence. They're a team that's good at trading operators, but Ion finds Nesk in the meantime. Panico almost gets taken by the firefight, but no! Shuts down Bullet One with some beautiful shooting there, and is now going to pull back and start digging up through Armory with those Zofia charges. Suddenly, 5 versus 3.
I didn't understand that fight at all, because he went into flag, he wasn't even looking at the Valkyrie, and he got shot at from Bullet, and then just decided to turn around on Laundry Stairs, and then turn around again, and he got the kill. I don't know what happened there, but Zig will manage to take down GDM, but quickly get traded out by Hooksword. It's going to be a 2v4 now. Silence going to go for the Purifier, but he will meet the Blitz on White Stairs. He pushes all the way in. PSK cannot find the cross. And just Eyeblask gets all the way in here. Silence goes down to that. He will be silenced. Oh no, Ion! Oh no, the team kill! Oh, but it's not going to matter because he will go down. Beautiful picks coming out here from Panico. Just doing absolutely amazing work on the Zofia, but I think he was a little bit lucky with that Bullet fight. But regardless, Team 1 will manage to take the first map of 6-4, and this could be the first time, as you said, that Team Liquid will not take their first map to overtime. No, it's the first time, and obviously they haven't taken the map as well, but it is a best of 3, so it is far from over, as I said. Granted, we are heading to the border. The border? A border. We are heading to border next, and that is Team 1's There
pick.
is only one border in Rainbow 6, so you could call it the border.
I could call it the border. Do not border the helicopter.
And on that note, we are going to take a quick commercial break before we do get into map number 2 of Border. So stick around and we'll be right back for this incredible series, Team Liquid versus Team 1 eSports.